Hi folks, we are at the finish line. This is the final video for Interpersonal Communications online at Hennepin Technical College for summer of 2019. As you can see on this screen in front of you, we are now moving into our final week of the semester, which is July 15th through July 21st. July 21st is our final due date for the course. So please, please, please make sure that you are working ahead and that you do not miss that deadline. I am going to be especially vigilant on that final deadline. And again, just a quick reminder, my policy is that I do not take any late work unless you have a documented emergency situation. So, and especially important with this final due date is that I am headed out of town just a couple of days after the 21st. So I will be grading, and we'll need everybody to have their papers in at least by that time. My encouragement is to actually get your stuff done early so that you don't have to push it until that final due date. So week number 6, which we are just going to be finishing up here, that's our last chapter in the book, Communication in Context, our final discussion posting. I do have your instruction manuals and discussion posting number 3 graded and in the D2L gradebook. So do take a minute to look at those. And again, folks, if you have any questions on how I graded or my comments or how I assign points, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I'd much rather you ask why you got a certain score or certain points than have you wondering and being frustrated about the assignments. But in particular, for discussion posting number 3, I didn't record specific or individual comments. I just kind of again went back through and reminded everybody of the grading rubric. So if you lost points on discussion posting number 3, please review that grading rubric so that you get full points on discussion posting number 4. By and large, the vast majority of you, I would say 90% of you, are earning 15 out of 15 on your discussion postings. So way to go. It's clear to me that you understand the grading rubric and you understand that you have to apply and cite, and by apply I mean explain how and why at least 4 text concepts apply in your posting, and then remembering to reply to at least 2 classmates. And most of you, like I said, the vast majority of you are really understanding that. But just double check that as you move into discussion posting number 4. Make sure that you are doing that, and then our final quiz is due on Sunday the 14th, and then that moves us into our final week of class. So the assignments that are due this final week is the film analysis. Just a quick reminder too, the film analysis is in place of a final exam. So I refer to as a capstone project. And a capstone project, instead of a final exam, is a way of pulling together everything that you've learned during the semester and demonstrating your ability to apply and cite concepts. This assignment is very similar to what you did in your perception interview paper and your instruction manual, in that you are connecting concepts from our textbook. And in the first assignment, you connected those concepts and applied them to interviews. In the second one, you connected and applied text concepts to your own communication behavior within a specific relationship. In this third assignment, we're kind of turning the lens away from you personally and your own communication, and we are going to look at a film. And I'm going to talk more in detail with that, but it's kind of a change of lens in that you're not examining your own behavior, but now you're able to look outward from yourself to others' communication behaviors and analyze it. And so films are a very good vehicle or tool in order to allow us to do that. So no final exam, but instead this analysis paper, it is worth 50 points. Remember, we have 313 total points for the semester, so it's a big one. It's it's a big point counter. So please take your time, do your best work, make sure that you are double checking the grading rubric, that you are double checking your spelling and all of that, because this one is a big point counter. And then there is an extra credit course survey. This is an optional assignment. It's extra credit. It's worth 5 points. There are 5 questions that I'm going to ask you to respond to, and then upload either a Word document or a PDF file up into the Dropbox. This is optional. It's just my way of gathering feedback from my students. During the summer, we don't do the official Hennepin Tech online course survey, but to me that seems like a missed opportunity if I don't ask you for your feedback and what you liked about the course, what you would like to see done differently, and that sort of thing. So, and again, final due date, folks, of July 21st. I'm going to, oh, I know what else I was going to show you. So also just remember too that I do have grade detail listed on the bottom of our schedule, so you can see how where all of your points have come from for the semester. It's a great chance to kind of review where we're at, and here again is that 50 points for the film analysis, and then here's that end of the course survey. So I'm going to switch our screen over to the film analysis and talk a little bit about that. The film analysis, again, is a opportunity to apply text concepts and vocabulary to interactions or communication in the film that you choose. So really the first step for this is to choose a film, and I do have 10 different films that are here. I kind of shake this up a little bit each semester. I try to choose ones that are on Netflix. I try to choose ones that are available in a lot of different places. So you are responsible for finding the full-length film. Again, I know like Dumplin' and I think Wine Country are Netflix originals, so if you have Netflix you should be able to find those. King's Speech and Crash, I think both Hennepin Tech libraries have that. And I try to throw in some, if you have children too, that you can watch with children. Meet the Robinsons. Leap is a cartoon you can watch with children. Dumpling is, if you've got a little bit of older children, that one is good. So I try to really kind of put a couple of different ones in there. Some of them that I would caution you probably to think about maybe not watching with your children would be Crash. There's some pretty heavy language in that one. And then Dallas Buyers Club. Awesome movie, but a little bit heavier for kids. So choose one of the films. Do find a copy of it. You are going to need to watch the entire film in order to do the analysis. So pick the film, and then one of the things I just want to point out, and students get confused about this, this is not like a film review. So there is no need to provide a film or a plot summary. I've watched all of these films multiple times, so I know all of these films fairly well. And remember that if you take any information that it didn't come from your own head, so let's say you go to Rotten Tomatoes, or you go to, you find an online review of Crash. Any information that is not your own, you must cite where you got that information from, and it must be cited in an APA citation. Now, if it's not, it's considered plagiarism, and you unfortunately earn an F on your paper. And if you don't cite any information that's not your own thoughts, then we do have to file a student conduct that says that you plagiarize. So just don't do that. Here's the important piece out of this whole little scenario, is you don't need to include any information that didn't come from your head. There is no need to tell me who directed this film, or when it came out, or if it won awards, or any plot summary. So there is no information that you need outside of our textbook and your own head. So just don't include any information that's not your own. But what you will be doing is, once you watch your film and you kind of get an understanding of the characters and their communication, is you will be writing a 4 to 5 page analysis paper that includes at least one concept from each of these areas. So I need you to analyze conflict, perception, nonverbal communication, language, listening, and close relationships. So as you are analyzing the characters communication in the film that you chose, you do have to have at least one concept not only applied, and when I say apply, I mean explaining how and why that concept relates to the communication that you're seeing in the film, and then remembering too that you must cite it with a definition and page number or chapter section number if you're using the online book. So there are 6 required areas. Now if you look down here to the grading rubric, you will see that an A paper, a 45 to 50 point paper, will have 10 to 12 examples that are analyzed with 10 to 12 concepts. So I'm only requiring one from each of these 6 areas, but if you're shooting for the A, you're going to at least have 12 concepts. So those other 6 concepts can come from any area. A super simple way to do this assignment is to do 2 concepts from conflict, 2 from perception, 2 from nonverbal, 2 from language, and so on. Because if there's 6 total required areas and you do 2 each, that easily gets you to the requirement of 12 concepts. So here's just kind of the way to go about this. Again, very similar to what you've been doing in all of your writing assignments and your discussion postings. Identify an example from the film. So I saw this character do this, right? What type of nonverbal was that? Was that an emotional expression? What was that? So you're analyzing, or I heard the character say this to another character. So you're analyzing a communication example from the film. Just briefly describe what you saw or what you heard the character say or do. Again, no need to go into a huge plot summary. Then say, okay, so I saw the character do this. So let's say I saw the character turn their body completely away from the other character. They were having an argument in this particular scene. Then you say, to me, this seemed like personal space. They moved away from the person. Or body orientation, they turned their body away. So you cite the concept from the textbook with definitions and page numbers, and this is then where the analysis comes in. So all we've done here is identify the communication example. We've cited a related text concept. This is where the real analysis, or this is where you get to demonstrate that you understand the concept, is you then analyze this behavior that you saw with the concept. So explain how this text concept relates to the character's verbal or nonverbal or emotions or whatever. So this is how you really show your own understanding of it. And this is the bulk of your paper with your own insights and thoughts. And this is why you do not need to go to any external websites or sources, because it's all your thoughts and insights on how this text concept relates to this character's communication behavior. And you're going to do that 12 times, right? Because now as we move down to the grading rubric, if it's an A paper, it's going to have at least 10 to 12 communication examples from the film that are analyzed with at least 10 to 12 text concepts, remembering that at least one concept has to be from each of the 6 areas. So make sure that you are meeting that requirement, and then again, folks, make sure that you check for grammar or mechanical errors. Part of the reason that I really encourage you to get an early start on this paper is if you do struggle at all with writing or grammar or mechanics, the Learning Resource Center is a wonderful resource, and they have seen this assignment multiple times. So I do encourage, I believe they're only open Monday through Thursday during the summer hours. So if I have at any of your discussions or any of your papers, if I've commented, hey, I'm seeing mechanical or grammar or writing errors, please make sure that you take the time, get your paper done early enough to get into the Learning Resource Center to have them help you. It truly makes me sad when I see a student's paper and they've done a great job. They've identified the character's communication. They've identified related concepts. They've explained how and why that concept relates to the communication behavior, but they have a lot of grammar errors or a lot of spelling errors or mechanical errors, and sometimes it can drop a paper from an A to a see, or even sometimes if there's many errors that interfere with the understandability of their paper, it can drop a paper all the way down to a D or an F. So please do take the time and work ahead, so that, because it takes time to go back and proofread and double check. So don't push the paper to the last minute so that you cut yourself short on double checking for writing errors. So there you are, folks. I'm just going to really quick go to our course homepage for the final week. Again, we're all done reading and quizzing as we move into week number 7. And again, just 2 assignments as we move forward. The intercultural film analysis that we just talked about. Here's a listing again of the movie choices. You are limited to those movie choices, so please do not do a movie that's not on this list. And I do have some links here to help you as you do this. Here's what we just went over. Here's a sample section. I think the sample section might be from a film from a different semester. If I remember correctly, I think it might be from Precious, and that's not one of the choices, so please don't do that one. Here's the checklist, and then here's the drop box where you will drop your finished paper. Folks, remember too, sometimes we had a D2L update about a week and a half ago, and sometimes it got really weird with my links weren't working. Remember, if some of these links are not working, always know that you can get to them up here. So course materials are where you'll find all of those. Assessments is where you'll find the assignment links. So please, I love it when you let me know if links aren't working, so please continue to do that. But don't get frustrated and think, oh my gosh, her link to the sample section isn't working. I can't see it. Always know that it's under, most often, unless it's an assignment Dropbox, which is under assignments, everything else is going to be under course materials and content. And specifically, like these 3 are all under assignment details. And then here is the extra credit course survey that's also due on the 21st. And there are just 5 questions that I want you to type up in either a Word or a PDF document, and just respond to these 5 questions and then upload. And here's the Dropbox for that. And again, this is optional. It's just really wonderful for me to get the feedback from you, and I really do appreciate it when students give feedback. So, and it's worth 5 points. And then just a quick reminder, a passing grade for our class for most of the programs at Hennepin Tech is a 70%, which is a C. Remember at HTC that we don't do minuses or pluses, it's just A, B, C, or D. And I use a very simple grading scheme, so 90 to 100 is an A, and that equates to 282 to 313 points, and so far. I do, if you have, let's say you had 281.5, I do round you up. So anything like is a 0.5 or above gets rounded to the next point. But if you had 280, I would not round that up to 282. So it's just those 0.5s and higher that get rounded up to the next grade. Again, I am headed out of town very shortly after the end of the semester, so my hope and plan is to get papers graded very quickly. I might even, if you upload papers early, I might even be able to get a jump start on those and get those graded. So please do feel free, and I encourage you to get assignments done early, and I should have grades turned around fairly quickly. So if you have any questions as we move through this final week of the semester, please reach out. You guys have been fairly quiet. I haven't heard a whole lot. And as I look at our grades, again, the vast majority of you are doing wonderful in the class. So the good news is you are being successful, but please know that I am here, especially as we move into the final week. Reach out if I can help you. If you want me to take a peek at your rough draft or your paper before you upload it, remember you just need to get it to me by noon the Friday before. You know, the Friday before the 21st, that would probably be what, the 19th. Make sure that you email it to me before noon, and I can take a peek and give you some feedback. It's a huge point counter with 50 points. So again, I would encourage you just to have me look at it and make sure that you are on the right track for that 50 points. Okay, that is it. I sure have enjoyed you folks. I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to read your discussion postings, and how privileged I feel to read your perception papers and your instruction manuals. Privileged that you share, and a lot of it is personal. You know, it's about your interpersonal relationships. So a lot of that is would fall in that realm of self-disclosure, and I feel very privileged that you have shared what you have with me. So I have very much enjoyed working with you and learning with you. I've learned, some of you have shared some wonderful links and some interesting research that you've done on your own, and I so appreciate that. And a couple of things I'll use in my fall classes. I think they're so wonderful. So I appreciate your communication with each other in the discussion posting, and I appreciate how hard you have worked. I know a 7-week semester is tough. Most all of you are working. A lot of you are, you know, growing families as well as going to school. So I truly appreciate how hard you have worked. So again, enjoy the rest of the summer. You have a well-earned break coming up. Those of you who are coming back in the fall, fantastic. I am on campus this fall on Tuesdays and every other Wednesday. So I'm on the Eden Prairie campus up in the H-Pod area on the 2nd floor. If you want to come by and say hi, I would love to get a chance to meet each of you live and in person. So take care, folks. Reach out if I can help in any way.